besties, welcome back to my channel, or hi, my name is Stacy if you're new here. Today's video I just wanted to do like a little chatty get ready with me for my birthday. So actually, like when I'm filming this, it's not my birthday, it's the day before. March 30th is my birthday. So it basically counts as my birthday makeup. I just thought it'd be fun to do like a casual type of video to chat and get ready. And I also share some of my like current favorite makeup products. So if you're wondering, then just keep watching. So yeah, before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this, because it really helps out my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And let's just get right into the video. Hello, so I haven't made a YouTube video in a while, so I'm a little bit out of practice. I'm still in my PJs right now. I hope that doesn't like bother anybody. Also, I did change the camera lighting setup a little bit. I don't know if it's like noticeable. I'll find out when I edit this video. I hope that it's better. I feel like this makes it a little bit more crisp. Before I had like the softbox light covers on, and now I just removed the covers. So the light is a bit harsher, but I feel like it allows you to see details better. Let me know if that's true. Okay, also I'm just like seeing my skin in the viewfinder right now, and it looks amazing. Not to toot my own horn, but it's like looking super glowy right now. So this is my holy grail combo. This is the Dalba First Spray Serum Mist, and this is like super popular in Korea. As you can see, I've used almost all of it. This is just a really nice serum. I like that it's a spray. I like the misting effect. Yeah, it's pretty lightweight, but I feel like it's very hydrating for a serum. If you have dry skin, I wouldn't like just use this. You want to definitely layer this with your other moisturizers. But I usually start off with this, and because your skin is wet, I think that helps the skincare absorb better. So yeah, today before applying makeup, I'm just using this mist. And then I use this Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel. It's called Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel Cream Extra Dry. So they have different versions of this, and I use the Gel Cream Extra Dry version. I don't have dry skin, but I guess like it's a little bit more moisturizing. You can see this one too is almost empty. I like to like scrape the remnants off the bottom before I start a new one, so that's why it should look like that. If you're ever wondering what I use before makeup, I just use this serum, and then I use this Neutrogena Gel Cream. I like that it's very like hydrating, like it literally feels like my skin gets a drink of moisture, but it's like very thin, like it doesn't feel like there's anything on my face. I feel like you want that for makeup application. I have more like normal to oily skin, so that's why I prefer like more lightweight products. If you have dry skin, you might need a more like occlusive moisturizer. Yeah, now that that's out of the way, I just feel like that was important because those are the kind of steps that I don't talk about that much, but they're very important to my makeup routine. So now for foundation, I'm gonna go into my favorite foundation these days, which is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. Mine is in the shade 070 Fair Neutral. This is probably like the one I've been using in like all my YouTube videos. This has just been my go-to foundation kind of since it launched, which was like a few months ago. It's just one of the nicest foundations to apply. Like it just glides over the skin. I feel like if you have any like blemishes or dry patches, it kind of like glides over them. It's a very like nice moisturizing serum-y formula, but it's not too greasy, so it's just like the best of both worlds. Anyways, you can see it's like quite runny. Definitely reminds me of a serum, and I'm gonna use my spatula, which is what I've been using to apply foundation. If I have time, I'll use a spatula, like if I'm not rushing to get out the door. It's also very fun to use a spatula. Like it's like buttering your face. If you haven't heard about the spatula technique yet, this basically just ensures that you're applying like the thinnest layer of foundation possible over your skin. So it just prevents like cakiness, any problems you can get from like foundation bunching up. It'll prevent it from like melting off your face since you're just not using that much product. And then I'm just using my sponge. I definitely recommend this technique. It started in Korea, but you can see how like this foundation just looks so skin-like. It gives a glow definitely, but it's not a crazy glow. Like my skin was already glowy to begin with, so it kind of depends on what your skin condition was like before, but I would say it's like a natural radiant. But I just like that it's very like thin, and the finish, the way it looks on the skin after, it's like it literally melts in. So it's like you can't even tell that you're wearing foundation, but it has like a pretty good medium coverage. So it's just like my perfect daily foundation. Also, I realized that even though I have an oilier skin type, well, okay, my skin isn't super oily, so that's like one thing to be note. Like when I say it's oilier, that's why I say that. I guess I have a normal to oily skin type, but also kind of combo because sometimes my cheeks get dry. But I never get dry patches. It's more just like they feel dry. But yeah, I just say I have oilier skin because it does get a little bit like shiny throughout the day, and I do have to powder it. Like I never don't powder my face. But even though I'm on the oilier side, I still prefer like foundations that are more on the natural to slightly dewy side, just because I feel like they tend to blend better. And if you do have like texture or like little crevices, I feel like they kind of go over that more smoothly, and they blend out better. I just feel like natural radiant foundations are more flattering. But yeah, even though I'm on the oilier side, I still prefer like a slightly shiny foundation, and then I'll just powder it in the places that get oily. Yeah, like look how pretty that is. It literally gives me glass skin in a bottle. And also it looks very glowy right now, but that's because we didn't powder yet. But I think it looks glowy, but not like greasy, you know? And then like later I will powder in the T-zone. So that will be fixed, don't worry. Next up we have this Bobbi Brown color corrector. So I feel like I don't talk about this enough, but I've also hit pan on this as well. It's in the shade Light Bisque, by the way, but I think it's the perfect color corrector if you have my skin tone, which is fair to light. This has like the perfect peachy undertone, and it's not too dark, but it's also not too like cool pink, because sometimes I feel like a lot of color correctors for fair people are very just straight up pink. But I need a little bit of that like salmon-y undertone. So I feel like this is like the perfect color. I feel like you can't tell on camera as much, but my dark circles are one of the things that annoy me the most. Like they definitely have this kind of like hollowness, and even after like covering up with concealer and foundation, they don't disappear fully. I don't know, I don't think that my dark circles are super dark, but I feel like they're dark enough that they don't like get fully covered. So I do like using a color corrector. And that's also why I like full coverage concealers, because I just need this part to be like covered up, erased fully, you know? So hopefully you can see the difference between these two eyes. This is color corrected and this is not. And you can see how like this under eye is just like a lot brighter. I still have a little bit of that hollow, but it's a lot better. I do want to try the stick version of this, so maybe I'll get it during the Sephora sale. But yeah, it's like the perfect tone. See? It's like a dark circle eraser. And then I'm going to use this Hourglass Vanish Concealer. This has been my current favorite concealer. Again, it's super full coverage, but I don't think it's actually the fullest coverage. I think my Tarte Shape Tape might be fuller coverage, but I actually haven't used the Shape Tape in a while, which is very weird for me because it used to be like my holy grail. Yeah, I like to dot it on my face like that. And I've been really liking using this Rare Beauty concealer brush. I realized that the brushes definitely give more coverage. I mean, I feel like that's a well-known fact, but I was like a beauty blender girl through and through until recently. Like I just use my beauty blender for everything, but definitely this brush keeps more of the concealer coverage, so you don't have to add as much. And I'm like, that makes so much more sense to not add that much. I don't blend it out too much because I like to keep a lot of the coverage, but then I will go in lightly with my beauty blender just to like tap out any weird marks. Hopefully you can see the difference that like now my under eyes are a lot brighter. Okay, now let's add a little bit of color back into the face. I'm gonna use this Fenty Amber Matchstix. This is like my holy grail. I still haven't found like a shade that's actually kind of contouring on me. Like if you see, this Matchstix is actually kind of a bronzer on me, but it's like a good neutral or cooler toned bronze. On me it's not actually cool toned, I feel like. It's just very neutral on me. So it's like the best color I've found so far, but I haven't actually found like a cool tone shade for me, and I think it's just because everything pulls warm. Oh yeah, speaking of bronzers, what do we think of the new Pat McGrath bronzer line that's launching? I'm very excited about that actually. She needed a bronzer in her line, and it's actually launching on my birthday. So I'm debating whether or not I should pick one up. I do want to pick up like the quad and the new blush. Actually the blush isn't new, it was part of like one of the holiday palettes, but I didn't get that one because I had all of the other shades. So it's actually perfect for me that I didn't get that palette. So now I can just pick up that one new shade that I didn't have. I think it's Divine Rose 3. Then I'll probably pick up a bronzer just to like review the formula for you guys. And also the shade. But yeah, I'm debating between like the first and the second shade. Because the first shade looks like the right depth. Like it's quite light, which I prefer. But it looks kind of warm. Like if anything looks warm in the picture, I'm like, it's gonna look even warmer on me. So I don't know about that. But then the second shade looks a little bit more cool toned or like more neutral. It's a little bit deeper. So we'll see what I decide. So you can see how that just added a bunch of color to my face and more dimension. So now let's get into brows. I've just been using this Unleashia Brow Wiz. So anyway, since we are talking about my birthday, how do you guys like to celebrate your birthday? I like a chill birthday. I don't actually like being the center of attention, which is kind of funny because obviously I post on the internet, but I'm talking more about like the kind of center of attention where you're sitting there and everyone's singing happy birthday to you, or like if you're like hosting a party or something, like everyone's like flocking to you, you know what I mean? Like I really don't like that type of attention. It makes me very uncomfortable. I mean, I guess it just feels different online because it doesn't feel like people are literally watching you. In person it feels more strange. Actually, that just reminded me of something I've been thinking about, which is like, what do you guys feel like when you have your birthday? Because I feel like I almost have like birthday anxiety, which sounds kind of strange. I'm sure other people feel this way too. I feel very ambivalent towards my birthday. Like, on the one hand, I love it because I'm very much like a self-care kind of person. I treat March as my birthday month, kind of like an excuse to do nice things for yourself. So I love my birthday in that aspect. Like, it makes me happy when I think about it, like from a distance, I guess. But the other side is like that anxious feeling about my birthday. I think it's because of actually like multiple reasons. So I think one thing is on your birthday, it just makes you very aware of the passage of time. So like obviously we all know that time passes every day, but it's more just like on your actual birthday, you're like, wow, it's been a year, or it's been multiple years since whatever. Like I'm not a kid anymore. I feel like time is flying by. And also I'm not old, like I'm turning 24. But yeah, I think especially, you know, I guess at this age, it's kind of like when you're like, oh, you're an adult, but you're still like a baby adult in terms of like, I don't really know what I'm doing in my life, you know what I mean? Like I do not have life figured out. So I feel like that just, you know, kind of adds to that time pressure. Like I feel like I already feel a lot of time pressure, especially as a woman too. I think the time pressure is a lot stronger, especially because like biological clock and stuff. Also, I'm using this Unleashia Brow Gel. It's like a super strong holding brow gel, and I like that it dries matte. So yeah, like anything where you're made aware of like the passage of time, like you're like, oh, another year has gone by. Like I physically feel that there's like a clock ticking. So don't like that. And I also feel this way actually about like New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve / New Year's, when you're like doing the countdown, I always feel like this sense of like dread / anxiety. And I don't know, it's like I feel both happy and sad and excited for the new year, but also like scared. Anyways, I don't know if anyone else feels this way. I mean, I'm sure people do, but I just feel like maybe I like overthink these things too much. Yeah, so I'm saying like my issue isn't even about aging. I actually don't think I have a huge fear of aging, or at least not the same as most people do. I mean, maybe that will change because I haven't like experienced aging yet. But yeah, like my fear isn't aging. It's more just like time is passing and I feel like I haven't done that much yet in my life. Or like I haven't gotten to these milestones yet. I feel like a kid trapped in an adult's body. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. But you have to like pretend like you know what's going on. So yeah, it's just like kind of not the vibe. So yeah, there's that whole like anxiety aspect. And then I think the other part is kind of like the pressure for your birthday to be like the perfect day. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but it's like because my birthday's at the end of the month, so I spend the whole month of March looking forward to my birthday. I don't know if that sounds kind of crazy, but like because there's so much anticipation, I feel like it kind of puts pressure on me. And this is also like pressure just from myself, like nobody else is putting this pressure, but it's just like I just feel like I have to have the best day on my birthday. You know, and also because like people will ask you like, oh, what did you do for your birthday? Or, like, what did you get on your birthday? I don't think I feel that super strongly, but it's just definitely like I feel that a little bit on my birthday. So it kind of makes me like nervous almost on the day. I'm like, everything has to go perfectly right. I'm not even talking about like expecting extravagant things. I'm just talking about like expecting everything that day to go smoothly and like how you want it, if that makes sense. Let me know if any of you have had these kinds of thoughts. But anyways, I'm gonna go into this Rose Quartz palette from Huda Beauty. I feel like I've gotten a lot of requests to use this palette. And also it is one of my favorite palettes, but I just haven't used it in a bit. Because recently I've been more into like K-beauty stuff, but I've been wanting to dig back into this palette. It's like so beautiful. Yeah, let's go into the shade Serenity. I'm just gonna use that as the transition shade. I'm still not sure what kind of eye look I want to do yet. But yeah, so I feel like all those like, I guess, negative feelings about my birthday, but then, you know, I also love it because I spend the whole month looking forward to it. I like doing nice things for myself. Now I'm gonna go into the shade Happiness. But yeah, also because I'm turning 24, so in the Chinese zodiac, it's actually my zodiac year of the rabbit, which means that we're supposed to be extra lucky. Let me know if you're a rabbit too. Also, rabbit is my favorite zodiac, but obviously I'm biased. But like, if I could have picked one of the zodiac signs, I would have picked the rabbit, so I'm happy that I am a rabbit. I'm gonna go into some of this Cherish shade, which is this really pale pink color. Also, I'm so bad at like multitasking. Like it's really hard for me to talk and do my makeup at the same time. I think I just get overstimulated easily, and I like to concentrate. I'm gonna use this McGrath Intensifeyes wand to put this on my main lid. Usually I do like to use some kind of like sticky primer for glittery eyeshadows. This is the shade Moon Magic. It's like a really pretty like pink to blue flip. Very intriguing like magical shade. Ooh. That's stunning. This is such a good like ethereal type shade. I mean, this palette is such a good ethereal palette, but the blue is like really strong. But it is like also really pink in certain angles. But yeah, I would say this is probably my favorite shade in the palette. Also today, Rare Beauty launched some new tinted lip oils, and I am so excited for those. I actually bought all the shades, which normally I wouldn't do, but I definitely do want to do like a review on it. I don't know if I'm gonna do like a full YouTube video. I'm definitely gonna swatch all of them. I'm so excited about the new Rare Beauty lip oils because apparently they leave like a tint, like they leave a stain on your lips, which I've never seen for a lip oil before. It's definitely like very K-beauty vibes. And also that product is made in Korea. So like I just love Korean lip formulations. I feel like they get it, you know? I feel like Korea or just like Asian lip products have way more like innovation and usually at like a more reasonable price too. Like $20 is like the upper end for the K-beauty lip tints, but it's like the lower end for Sephora. So it's like, why would I buy that when I can just buy a K-beauty lip tints? Anyway, that's like part of the reason why I've been on more of like a K-beauty kick recently. I just find some of their formulas are like better at lower price. So it's like, why would I not use them, you know? And definitely for lips, I pretty much exclusively use K-Beauty lip tints. Okay, not exclusively, but like I'd say like 90% of the time I'm wearing like a Korean lip tint or like a Chinese lip tint, and then I'll occasionally wear like Western stuff, but the Asian beauty lip tints are so much better. So today's look is gonna be a little bit more like on the ethereal, very magical type side. But I think on my actual birthday, which is tomorrow, I think I'll go for a more like neutral glam moment. I think I might use the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. I kind of would feel bad using that in a video these days just because it was limited edition. So it's not being sold anymore, so I feel like if you didn't get your hands on it, it would be like kind of sad. And this is why I hate limited edition things, because like what is the purpose? And also that palette is so gorgeous, like for when you want to do like a soft glam look. And it was so popular, so I don't get why they discontinued it. But yeah, that's my rant. I just don't understand why they would do that. Like they played themselves. They could make so much more money if they brought it back, but they don't want to, which is like why? But yeah, this is turning out a lot more colorful than I was planning on. The only thing I don't love about this palette is that it doesn't have a good inner corner shade for me. So I'll probably just add that later. So now I'm gonna go into this shade called Mantra, and I'm gonna use that as a lining shade. I also pretty much exclusively just use shadow liner these days. Occasionally I'll use like a gel liner and then blend it out with shadow liner. That's like a very popular Korean beauty technique. I just prefer shadow liner. I just like how it's like softer, and I like how it meshes into like my features better, I feel like. I just noticed that like whenever I do liquid eyeliner, well, first of all, it's more effort because it has to be more like perfect. And I don't like how the line is like so sharp and clean, you know, and it's like really stark black. Or like even if you use a brown, it's like just very defined. And I feel like that doesn't look as good just because like if you think about it, the rest of your face, nothing is like super high definition like that. Like I'm saying like even your brow hairs and stuff, like there's still some softness and like fluffiness to them. Nothing is like pure jet black on your face, and nothing is like a pure straight line. So I just feel like when I do like a liquid black liner, it just kind of like jumps off my face. So yeah, that's why I'm not a fan. But I understand like for certain looks you want to do them or whatever. I just feel like a liquid black eyeliner is so overrated. Like you don't need it for every look. Obviously like if you want to, like you do you. That's my hot take, is that you don't need a liquid black eyeliner. Okay, I think I'm gonna go into this Dasique palette, which is a K-Beauty brand. I've been loving a lot of their palettes actually, because they have a lot of these like wet looking glitters. So pretty. This is also like the perfect pinky berry palette. Oh, this is called 18 Berry Smoothie. And you can get Dasique from Olens. As usual, everything will be linked down below in the description. I'm just gonna use this as my inner corner and bottom lash line shade. So I'm gonna go into this shade, which is like a wet looking kind of pinky lavendery shimmer. Okay, so this is also why I haven't set my under eyes yet or set my T-zone, because I want to keep this area tacky so that I can put glitter on it. That's something that I've learned. Like if you set your under eyes before this step, it's really hard for the glitters to stick. But yeah, also this palette is cool because it has like split pans. So they doubled the normal amount of shades, and each pan is like half the size. I guess it's not good if you like to use really thick brushes, but I tend to use smaller brushes for detail work anyways. But yeah, like I've been on a K-Beauty palette kick recently. And by recently, I mean the past like few months. I just think the shades are much more flattering for my skin tone. Like they make a lot of pastel shades. They make a lot of palettes that Western beauty doesn't. So like if you don't like Western beauty palettes, or you find that they're too dark or too warm, definitely look into K-Beauty palettes because they have a lot of like pastel and cool tone shades. Now if you have a deep skin tone though, sometimes it can be hard to find like K-Beauty palettes that will work for you because a lot of them go very light. There are some, but it's not gonna be like every K-Beauty palette. Like this one I would say is better for like light to medium skin tones. So yeah, now I'm gonna go into this champagne shade. It's another like wet glitter. Actually, should I add some of the chunky glitter just to like show you guys? Okay, I'm gonna add some of this lavendery shade since I think that will go well with this. So it's like in the pan I can feel it's kind of a little bit grittier, but it's not that chunky looking, you know what I mean? Actually, I don't know if that's gonna detract from this duochrome. I'm just gonna place a little bit to give a little bit more of that like K-pop idol kind of shine. I'm not gonna put that much. You know, I'm gonna curl my lashes. Also, I like pretty much never do this step on camera, but I'll just do it now because I feel like I always get questions on how I do my lashes, but it's the same every time. Just curl it using my Shiseido lash curler. But anyways, something else I wanted to talk about was like how as you get older, you just realize how crazy like some trends, I guess you could say, are. I'm not talking about one trend in particular. I'm talking more about like, I feel like I've just recently come to this realization about how we like commodify bodies, which is really interesting. I'm sure like this isn't a new thought, but I feel like as I've gotten older, I just realized like how much beauty trends change, you know what I mean? But when it's like a literal like body or a facial feature, it's like, it just feels very strange when like certain body shapes or certain facial features are like trendy, but you just realize like how arbitrary the physical feature trends are, how you really shouldn't change yourself to fit the trends. They literally come and go, and they come and go in cycles as well. Like some examples I'm thinking of are for example, like freckles. Like I definitely remember as a kid, freckles were not popular. I mean, I don't have freckles, or like not really. Like I didn't have this issue. I definitely know like people who are made fun of for freckles, and I don't know how I learned this, but definitely like it was not considered beautiful like when I was a kid. So now everyone's like drawing fake freckles. So that's like one thing. I mean, even lips, for example. Like when I was a kid, I've been told actually that like my lips were too full, which sounds crazy now, but definitely back in the day, full lips were not it. Like you wanted like thin, tiny lips and tiny mouth. Like think like Emma Watson's lips or something. Also no shade to her, like I think she's a beautiful woman, but I'm just saying like it's just interesting how now everyone's getting lip injections left and right to like fit a certain image. You know, I don't think I ever felt like I had to change myself to fit society standards, but I just feel like as I've gotten older, you just realize like how arbitrary, like truly arbitrary these standards are, and how they change like every season. I feel like that's the part that makes it so obvious. That it's not like some fact of life or something that like, oh, this particular feature is beautiful, you know? I'm just saying it's crazy that like things that people used to get made fun of for, like now they're like the pinnacle of beauty. Or I think same with like, you know, thick brows. I've heard a lot of people talk about this where like, cause you know how thin brows used to be in like the 90s and the 2000s. And then everyone was going through that phase where it was like the super fluffy like soap brows, or like the Anastasia dip brows. It's just really interesting. But basically my whole point of saying that was just to say like the trends come and go, but like you will always be you. Your features are unique to you. Like I feel like people just overlook their kind of like innate beauty because it doesn't fit with the trend cycle at that time. But once the trend cycle hits, everyone like wants to look like you. Also, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I'm just saying like I feel like it just goes to show that you shouldn't change yourself just to like fit society's expectations. Obviously, easier said than done. That's like where like self-love is super important. And obviously like if you want to do plastic surgery or whatever, like for yourself, like you do you, because you know, it's your body, your choice. But at the same time, I just think like people should be more aware. I feel like if more people looked at the bigger picture of how like, oh, these trends are like cycling through. Because one day they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're ugly, and then the next day they'll be trying to look like you. Yeah, obviously easier said than done, especially like if you're a teen or just like a younger person who hasn't like really found themselves yet. It's obviously easier to get swayed by like what society deems as like cool and beautiful and trendy. I don't really know what my point is in saying this. I guess I'm just saying like I realized the ridiculousness of trends and like commodifying bodies, because like we're all a person at the end of the day. Like we're not just like a sum of body parts. Like you're more than your body parts, obviously. I feel like it's easy to forget that. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of like loving who you are, like not even necessarily loving it, but coming to a place of acceptance, you know? Like what is it, body neutrality, I guess? Because really like nobody can keep up with all the beauty trends and everything. Like you can't just like change yourself to fit into every mold. Like that's just literally not possible. I feel like the best bet is just to be you and like own being you, you know? But again, like that's obviously easier said than done. That's what ideally everyone would want to do, but not everyone is able to do that. Let me know what you guys think. I just think it's kind of ridiculous. I think especially now with TikTok and everything, I feel like I just realized how crazy the trend cycle is because, you know, the trends, they start cycling faster until like they overlap and like do weird things. So yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about in the beauty world these days. I don't think this is like a super original thought, but let me know what you guys think. It just goes to show that at the end of the day, you gotta accept yourself. Like if you're chasing society's acceptance, you're not gonna find it probably, because they're gonna change what they accept. They're gonna keep moving the goalpost. Basically, it's just you do you, you know? Something that really made me think about this actually was because recently I feel like I've heard multiple like white people talk about how like they really need to be tan, or like they only look good when they're tan. Like they want a fake tan, they don't like it when they're pale, or, like they feel like they look sickly when they're pale or whatever. Like I feel like I've seen multiple videos like that recently, and it's just like utterly shocked me, because even though I was born and raised in America, like obviously I still have access to a lot of like Asian media and influences, and also like my parents are Asian. Like there will always be Asian culture ingrained in me, even though I was born and raised in America. It still like is actually like insane to me that like white people or other like pale people like want to be tanner, because in Asian culture like everyone wants to be really, really pale. So the beauty standards are just so utterly like opposite. Like they could not be more opposite. Like in Asia, you would never catch someone saying that they wish they were tanner. I mean, you'd pretty much never catch that. So I feel like because I could see both sides to that, like you just realize how ridiculous, I mean, both standards are. Like they're just these really arbitrary things. And also I really don't like how it just makes people unhappy with themselves, you know what I mean? When you could just be like appreciating your own beauty. That's where these standards go wrong. It's just like it's making everyone want to be something that they're not, when really all of these things are beautiful individually. It's just that they might not be trendy at that time. But I feel like just seeing how directly opposite those beauty trends were like definitely made me think about it a lot more. So that's why I think, you know, you should come to a place of like at least acceptance with our bodies and our looks. But yeah, it still shocks me whenever white people say they like don't like being pale because in Asia that is like the standard. And obviously that has its own problems like in terms of colorism and stuff like that. But just like let's all accept the shade of skin that we are, because like literally every skin tone is beautiful. Like there's not anything wrong with any skin tone. It's just like these random arbitrary things that culture decided on, which is kind of crazy to think about, like when you like consciously think about that. I think it's just something like when you experience two different cultures, like you just notice like the differences between them a lot, and then you realize how much of your thoughts were like taught to you rather than something that you necessarily like decided for yourself. So yeah, I just encourage people to like think about like the standards that you hold and like think about why you hold them. Like, was it because society told you so? Or was it because you decided that for yourself? I mean, obviously we don't live in a vacuum, so we can never like fully separate from society, but I'm just saying like it's good to like consciously think about those things. Sorry I got a little bit rambly there, but hopefully that made some sense. Okay, also if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm just pinching my eyelashes together because I want them to be like a little bit more clumpy, but not like super clumpy. Like I don't want to have like 5 lashes, but I'm just clumping them a little bit more because I feel like when you clump them together, they're more easily visible. So it actually looks like you have more lashes even though you technically have less pieces. Anyways, now I'm gonna go into this liquid blush from Plouise. This is in the shade Legally Pink, which I had been waiting for forever to come back into stock. This blush was super viral on TikTok, which is why I picked it up in the first place. And it's like a really pretty baby doll pink, you know, like one of my favorite types of shades. But yeah, like you can see how like this shade is so pastel, but I really like that, because it's like so hard to find these kinds of pastel shades in the West. This is not the ideal shade for deeper skin tones, but they do have brighter, more saturated shades as well. So it's not just these pastel shades. They have like a really unique shade range. So I've been like really into these blushes recently. But yeah, my customer service experience with them was not the best. Like you have to pay for shipping every time. And one time they canceled part of my order, so I would have to like pay shipping again the next time. They don't have any free shipping options, so that was like kind of a really big bummer. And they didn't give me a discount code until I asked, like a discount code for the next time shipping, because that was due to their inventory issue. But yeah, then I asked them for a discount code and then they gave me one. But then when it was time to order, the discount code didn't work. And I like wanted to order this immediately because like this Legally Pink shade was out of stock for super long and it was like one of the most viral shades. So I was scared it was gonna go out of stock again. So I just ordered it immediately, but like they just had so many issues with customer service, so it was not ideal. I mean, all in all, I still got the products that I ordered, but it was just like, it was a huge hassle to order it. The main thing though about these blushes is that like the colors, like, do you see this? It's so pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Powder. Finally set part of my face. So I've been really liking to set my under eyes with this. Also, the pink isn't too strong. It just makes them like very slightly pink and helps blend your under eyes into your blush really well. If you have a deeper skin tone, it would also have a really good brightening effect on you. But if you're like my skin tone or lighter, it's not like brightening, but looks really nice and just like blends this whole area together, you know? And yeah, it's not like crazy pink either. Like it doesn't look like my under eyes are like pink. And then I use this regular one in the shade Cupcake for like my forehead and stuff, because I don't want my forehead to be pinky. So yeah, like right here, because it's like really shiny right now. Maybe a little bit on my nose too, a little bit here. Okay, so you could leave the cheeks dewy like this, like I like that look, but generally I've been like setting my cream blush with powder blush. So I'm gonna go into this Kylie Winter Kiss shade. It's like the perfect baby pink. And also apparently Wonyoung uses this blush. If you don't know, she's like a very popular K-pop idol right now. So yeah, this is like the perfect like strawberry milk colored blush. But it is a little bit more pigmented than other K-beauty blushes. So I feel like this is a good alternative to those. And yeah, I like a really blushy look, so that's why I'm going a little bit crazy with the blush. So anyways, now onto lips. I'm gonna remove this first. Okay, so now I'm back with the lip gloss removed. So let me show you my lip combo. I don't know what lip combo I wanna do. So first, I usually cover the edges with whatever's left on the foundation sponge. I've been liking this one from Heart%. So this is a K-beauty brand. And again, you can get this at Olive Young. Link will be down below. This is in the shade O2 Creamy Pink. And this was like super viral in the K-beauty world. And I've been liking this one because it's actually really light. So you can see, like I think it's lighter than a lot of Western lip liners because they kind of make the lip liner closer to your lip shade so that it just looks like your lip is expanded, not like a contouring shade. Although they do also have a contouring color, which I have. Like you can see how this is like a lip color, right? Like it could theoretically be my lip color, but it's not because my lips are really dull and I also concealed them, but you can tell how like the color is pretty light. So yeah, I like that. It's really good for making your lips look like huge. It just looks like your lips but expanded. And then I always smudge out my lip liner. I just think that looks better. I'm gonna take this Clio Chiffon Blur Tint, the Pastel Clouds version. This is like one of their newer lip tints. And this shade is 09 Namsan Peach Pink. It's so pretty. I'm just gonna use this as a lip base. That color is so pretty. Anyway, I'm doing a really thin layer. And I pretty much always do a lip base with my glossy lip tints because it neutralizes like your lip color. It covers up your natural lip color. Like it usually kind of brightens it if you choose like a lighter color. It will make the glossy lip tint go on nicer since it won't be like dulled down by your natural lip color. It depends on like what your natural lip color is, but like this also works like if you have like more pigmented lips, or I feel like even if you have like reddish lips, because you use the matte color to cover up whatever your natural lip color is, so you can make it into the color that you want. And then you take a glossy lip tint. I'm debating between if I want 04 or 10. A lot of you told me you bought 04 because of me, and this is still one of my favorite shades. Oh, this is the Peri Para Ink Move Glowy Tint. But also this newer shade 10 is super pretty too. I'm gonna swatch these to compare. Okay, so 10 is just like a lot lighter basically. It's like a lighter version of 04. Here's 04 and here's 10. So yeah, I like that it's more of like pastel version. I mean, they're both really pretty, both perfect for cool tones. Actually, I think I'm gonna go for 04 to make more of a gradient lip situation. Because 10 would be like, it would be very similar to the lip color I have on right now. But I think I want a little bit of a gradient. So I'm just gonna add a little bit to the center. I just love these Peri Para Ink Mood Glowy Tints because they're some of the most like hydrating, especially if you like always get dry lips. Like these are a lifesaver. And they also like lightly tint your lips because the tint is like isn't super strong. It's not going to stain unevenly like some other stronger tints can, but it has like enough of a tint that it will help it last a little bit longer than like a regular lip gloss, you know? It's so pretty, not sticky, like the perfect shade. It's just so pretty. Also, yeah, it will look darker if you don't put like this base color because it will like mesh with your natural lip color. But as I said earlier, since I put a brighter base color, now it looks like a very like cute pastel lip. Like it's so gorgeous. And also you want to work in like thin layers. You want to goop a bunch of products on your lips because it will like end up being too much. So yeah, thin layers is the way to go for pretty much all makeup. So okay, we finished all the makeup. So let me like fix this hair and get dressed and I'll come back to show you guys the finished look. Okay, so I'm back with the finished look. What do we think? I really love how everything came out. You guys know I love my pinky and purple tone, so I had to do it in honor of my birthday. Yeah, I just love how like ethereal it is. And at first I thought it was gonna be too much, but I feel like with everything, it looks like it doesn't look out of place, you know what I mean? Look how stunning that eyeshadow is. I can't go over it. Huda Beauty has done it again. But anyways, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed and found some value from me rambling today. Yeah, thank you guys for being with my channel for another year. I really am so grateful for you guys watching my videos. It just feels nice to find like a community of people who like the same things as you. And also like most of you guys leave the sweetest comments and like really encourage me to keep making videos. So thank you all for sticking with me and I hope we'll have many more years together. So yeah, that's about it for today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and comment and subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this because it really helps on my channel and it would really mean a lot to me. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!